Well, it's time to end the Mr. Nice Guy routine that I've been doing here on YouTube over the last week and get down to reality with this Georgia TCU game coming up tonight at 7:30 for the national title. Look, I feel like I've been fair over the last week when I've talked about TCU. I've done the thing where I came on and pretended they had a chance to win and talked about how great their story was and how much I respect Max Duggan and Quentin Johnston and the TCU offense and how scrappy the defense has been and the second half comebacks and the never say die attitude and all of that. Okay, but look, it's time to start dealing in facts here. And the facts are TCU's not winning this game. Not only that, they don't have a chance to win this game. Georgia is going to roll. Georgia is going to roll. This whole thing with people running around talking about what a great story TCU is. Well, that's amazing. I love great stories as much as the next guy does. Stories, fairy tales, movies. You know what they all have in common? They're not fucking real. You know what is real? Georgia. Georgia is real. And in reality, TCU ain't winning no national title. Not against my Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I'm not surprised that TCU, man, wants to run around pretending this fairy tale story movie is going to have some kind of a happy ending. I'm not surprised that they're this delusional. I'm not surprised that they'd rather live in a land of fairy tales, a land of rainbows and unicorns and, everyone's a winner type of deal. I'm not surprised that TCU fans would prefer to live in that type of environment. Look what type of school it is. They've been gullible and allowing themselves to be tricked and conned for the majority of their lives, most likely. I don't have anything really against TCU. We need Christian boarding schools for runaways. We need a few of those spread throughout the country. So I'm all for TCU setting up shop in the middle of bumblefuck Texas somewhere and going ahead and doing that. I've got no issue with that. But in reality, they're not winning a national title. Not against this Georgia Bulldog team. Not against my Georgia Bulldog team. It's just not happening. TCU is more like Hogwarts than it is an actual institute of higher learning. And reality is going to come crashing down tonight for the TCU football team, the TCU fans, and TCU man. What few of them are out there. Georgia's winning this game, and it's not going to be particularly close. Max Duggan, well, whoopity fucking do. Stetson Bennett's story is so much better than Max Duggan's. It's not even, if you were to make a movie out of Stetson Bennett and a movie out of Max Duggan, Stetson Bennett would be a multi-billion-dollar #1 worldwide blockbuster, and the Max Duggan story would be a straight-to-VHS release. Google VHS, dummy. Some of you aren't old enough. That's not my issue. It's not my job to, and parents, quit leaving me comments about the things I'm doing and saying on here and that your kids are watching. I'm not your kid's parent. That's part of y'all's problem. I'm not your kid's parent. You are. Stop letting the internet raise your child, dummy. Where were we at? TCU's not winning this game. Georgia, 42-27, 45-28, 49-20, 45-23. It's going to be in that range. You can't keep up. Your defense isn't any good. 65th or something in scoring defense. You're not winning a track meet against Georgia. But we beat Michigan, woo! Congratulations, so did we last year. Georgia is Michigan on steroids. Michigan, if you go to wish.com and order Georgia, Michigan shows up at your door. So congratulations for barely beating them last week because they had multiple turnovers, multiple coaching blunders, multiple pick sixes, multiple just horrible play calls from the beginning of the game to the end, going for it on 4th and 2 on the first drive to the blunders at the end. Congrats. And look, I promise you, 6 months from now, when you look back on this season, you'll be happy and proud. I promise you. But you ain't going to be happy and proud tonight. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be crying into your chalice or whatever it is you're sipping out of, your goblet or whatever it is y'all drink. I don't know. But the reality is Georgia's winning this game. But you'll look back and be happy in the end. You can talk about how amazing it was that you almost won the Big 12. Almost. You were so close. You were so close, TCU, man. Talk about how you beat Michigan in the playoffs. Those will be fond memories. Best thing you can do is just forget tonight ever happened, though, because it's going to be a massacre. It's going to be a massacre. You don't stand a chance. You don't have the talent. You don't have the players. You don't have the coaching. You don't have the scheme. You don't have anything required to beat Georgia. Nothing. Zero. None. I haven't been this confident in a big game maybe in my entire life as a Georgia football fan. Georgia is going to roll. Georgia's going to absolutely roll. You know what Max Duggan reminds me of? Max Duggan reminds me. Now, you see these clips floating around every once in a while, and for whatever reason, maybe this isn't true, but it seems this way. It usually involves a middle school age kid, but I guess it could be younger or older. But it seems like it's usually a middle school, and it's usually a basketball game, but you see something similar in some other sports sometimes too. But it'll be the end of the game. Some teams getting blown out, just something unholy, right? And then they call a timeout, and off the bench comes, let's see, how can I put this and offend the least amount of people possible? Some retarded kid. And they let him go in the game, right? He gets in the game, they pass him the ball, the defense parts like your mythical Red Sea. He dribbles down, he makes him a little layup, the crowd goes wild, everybody's coming out and patting him on the head. I'm so proud of you. That's Max Duggan and TCU. We are proud of you. Congratulations. We put you in the game against Michigan. Michigan let you go down and do all that by basically tripping over their own feet. But much like that middle school basketball game, that will be the highlight. That's it. You know it. I know it. The Babylonian people know it. Everybody knows it. The Nazarenes know it. You name it. You name it. So, continue to live in the land of fairy tales, the land of make-believe, which is where you're obviously most comfortable, right? And enjoy Georgia's second straight national title. Because that's what's happening. That's all there is to it. Back to back. What a feeling. What a feeling. I've worked hard all this season. I've worked hard. You know what? From the minute last year's national championship game ended, I celebrated for about 5 minutes. But since that point, my mind has been focused on this year and the task at hand. I've put in the work. I grew through the off season. I trained over the summer. I showed up ready to go in fall camp. I put the time in all season long. The effort, the energy, the dedication, the trash talk. I did it all. I prepared. I grinded. And now it's time for Uncle Lou to reap his reward. Hell, I even lost 15 pounds for this season. I'm in the best shape of my life. There's no way I'm losing, no matter how mad it makes you. And it is funny to see a lot of people running around the internet, not necessarily rooting against Georgia, but rooting against Uncle Lou. Man, y'all have had a rough time rooting against Uncle Lou lately. You're about to be 1-29 in your last 30 tries in football games rooting against Uncle Lou. Anyway, Georgia will be in Los Angeles tonight to kick it off at 7:30 to beat the absolute shit out of whatever TCU is. A horned frog that's actually a lizard. You people are hypno-toad. You can suck my hypno-chode. That's what you can do from the inside out. You're not winning this game because I said so. And that's all that matters. You know what? Texas Christian University. I just can't help myself when I do these type of videos. The best thing I can say about TCU is that they're not BYU. That's honestly the best thing I can say about you. That's the best thing I can say about you. Anyway, Uncle Lou 316 says, come get you some of this, bitch.